We're getting ready then for the start of round 22 of the Green Flag MSA British Touring Car Championship. It's a crucial time in the points battle. What is going to happen here? Matt Neal versus Ivan Muller from the front row of the grid. It's a good start from the orange Honda of Matt Neal. James Kay is slow away from third place. Luke Hines going past him, but Matt Neal has got the best start. He leads as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. There's a bit of punching behind. You can see Tom Chilton going around the outside in the black Honda. Coming up, there was also Sean Watson-Smith in the Proton, but it's Matt Neal that leads at the hairpin for the first time. Chased by Ivan Muller and James Thompson. It's James Kay who's managed to stay in fourth. He got a spinner at the back there.
That's Carl Breeze. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to get every car around the first two corners. Carl Breeze unfortunately turned around, but at the front, absolute perfect start by Matt Neal, but immediately under pressure from Muller. He didn't get any of that wheel spin. He just drove that car away from the start absolutely perfectly.
So Matt Neal trying to make the break from the Vauxhalls. It's a Honda leading, the two Vauxhalls in second and third, and just 1 point, remember, separates those two Vauxhalls in the championship. Ivan Muller in second is 1 point ahead of Thompson in third. Then it's James Kay.
Here's a replay of the start, and you can see Matt Neal, no wheel spin, just perfect traction, drives away. Behind him, James Kay gets a slow start and bunches everybody up. Just about manages to hang on the inside, but it certainly bunched up the pack and gave the first three a nice clear run through Paddock.
Now, that was what happened at the start, but at the back, of course, we saw Carl Breeze get into trouble coming out of Druids. But this is...
Well, that car's on fire. I thought it was a strange place to stop. He obviously stopped there in a bit of a hurry. It's on the approach to Druids. May cause a safety car, but it was a strange place to stop, and I dare say he's got some electrical problem, probably, and the car cut out, and that maybe the electrical problem has manifested itself in a fire in the wiring loop.
Now, the fire extinguisher went off. An explosion of fire extinguisher there, and must have made life a bit difficult for people heading up the hill, actually, because they suddenly had a fog in front of them. Matt Neal with the restart underway. It's Ivan Muller and James Thompson immediately behind. Here comes Luke Hines trying to get past James Kay, but he didn't make it. Wasn't tight enough to the inside. James Kay had that covered. In fact, Rob Huff now trying to get around the outside into the hairpin. That's a brave manoeuvre to try. Of course, it gets slippery on the outside of the track, and Rob Huff has to slot back into place. He's chased by Tom Chilton and by Stephen Hodgetts and by Sean Watson-Smith, who's running in 9th place. 10th place still for Michael Bentwood, and 11th place for Jason Plato. Plato has to do something in the remainder of this race, but there's still some time. Ivan Muller takes a much wider line into clearways there than Matt Neal. Let's just see what happened here between Collard and Jason Hughes a moment ago.
Yes, Jason Hughes had got past Collard up at Druids, and, well, Rob really didn't need to do that. Gave him a good whack. Jason did well to receive it, but he actually lost a further place, unfortunately, to Carl Breeze.
Through come the top two then. Muller in second. Thompson not able to quite stay with the top two. He's lying in third place in that new built car that VX Racing had to put together for this weekend. Looking down again at that incident, you can see from Reed's car there was the contact between Collard and Jason Hughes that knocked him sideways. Don't think Hughes was too impressed about that. And the off is the Hodgetts in the Alpha. He's off at Clearways now. We don't see what happened there, but that's on the turning in point to Clearways corner. Stephen Hodgetts, after looking as though he was going to get a top 10, and of course that's put Turkington into 10th place now. They've got an MG into the top 10, and it could be into pole position for race 2 here. 23 laps have been completed, 4 laps to go. Matt Neal is still the race leader. Ivan Muller in second, James Thompson in third, James Kay is fourth. Luke Hines still chased by Rob Huff. There is the battle for third, but poor Stephen Hodgetts is out. And we're on board briefly with Jason Plato, comfortably in 9th place. Will he dare try and drop 1 place to finish in 10th? It might be too risky. Matt Neal has crossed the line. He's onto his last lap now as Tom Chilton still puts the pressure on Luke Hines for 5th place. But Matt Neal looking to take his second win at Brands Hatch this year, having won here in April. He has really controlled this race from pole position. A great start from him. He's got a 1.8 second gap over Ivan Muller, and he's just got half a lap to complete now to take victory here at Brands Hatch. Muller will be pretty happy, I think. It'll extend his lead slightly over Thompson, but Thompson, he's struggled with a bit more ballast, and he's going to come home in 3rd place. Who will be 10th, though? That's the big question. Turkington's under pressure from Bentwood, let me tell you, as they come down the back stretch. Matt Neal's heading towards the checkered flag. He's out of clearways onto Brabham Straight. Matt Neal takes the first race win of the day. Ivan Muller finishes in second place. We wait for James Thompson to come through in third. Harriman, a lapped car, just going through past us now. It's Thompson in third, Kay fourth, Hines fifth, Chilton sixth, Huff seventh, Watson-Smith 8th, and the battle for 10th across the line. And I think Bentwood got it. Just across the line there, Michael Bentwood took 10th place. So the result of race 1 saw Matt Neal take the first win of the weekend ahead of Ivan Muller and James Thompson. James Kay scored his best finish of the season in 4th, ahead of Luke Hines and Tom Chilton. Rob Huff was 7th ahead of Sean Watson-Smith, and Jason Plato was 9th, but Colin Turkington has been given back that 10th place. It was deemed that Michael Bentwood pushed a little bit too hard, so Turkington will start from pole for race number 2. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, and we're really looking forward to the second race of the day coming up. It's going to be a hard-fought contest, there's no doubt, and Colin Turkington, Tim's got a great chance, hasn't he?
He certainly has. The MG's been the fastest car in the last 2 meetings, but they struggled in the first race today. They say because of a lot of weight in the car. Now we'll see if they really have got the pace, but Turkington will be favourite to win.
Well, let's take a look at how they line up then for the start of this one. It is Colin Turkington and Jason Plato. He loves race 2, always goes well. He's on the front row. Sean Watson-Smith and Rob Huff are on the second row of the grid. Third row, the youngsters, Tom Chilton and Luke Hines. Behind them, we've got James Kay and James Thompson. Thompson now 3 points behind Muller in the championship. And on row number 5, there is Ivan Muller, the series leader by just 3 points, with the race 1 winner from earlier today, Matt Neal, alongside. Both of them carrying lots of lead ballast in the cars now as a result of winning that first race, of being first and second. Matt Neal gets 42 kilos of ballast, Ivan Muller gets 30 kilos of ballast, and certainly from what we've seen so far this weekend, the ballast is making a huge difference. Don't forget that Anthony Reid starts 1 row behind them. He's on the 6th row of the grid. I'm glad to say that Stefan Hodgetts has made it back out in the Alfa Romeo that got so badly damaged earlier. Dan Eves is also on the grid despite the fire that he suffered in his car in race number 1. So all the cars now just moving into position. The last couple of cars taking their places. Dan Eves brings up the rear in a car that has been cleaned out from all the fire extinguishment that filled the cockpit earlier on. Colin Turkington and Jason Plato are on the front row of the grid. We're all set for round 23 of the Green Flag MSA British Touring Car Championship. From Brands Hatch, it's one of the toughest circuits to overtake, but we're on for a great race, and Turkington makes a good start from pole position. Plato slots into second. Watson-Smith tries to squeeze through on the inside, but there's no space because Plato has filled the gap there. And out, oh, and there's a spinner, and that's Muller. Oh, there's Hines. It's Luke Hines in trouble. Luke Hines in the third of the VX Racing cars got tipped into a spin. Thompson's still there. Muller is still there. A bit further down, he got slowed down in that incident, but he didn't get taken out, which is going to be a big relief to him. It's Turkington that leads the race from Jason Plato.
The 2 race favourites, Turkington and Plato, got off the line. Turkington made the better start. Plato was forced to move over across on Sean Watson-Smith and nearly had a repeat of the accident he had here back in May where he wrote off his car. But now he's in the groove, immediately up the inside at clearways. He's got a good inside overlap onto the main straight on Turkington already.
Oh, that was a great move from Plato, clambering over the curb to make sure he didn't hit Turkington. And they're side by side at 130 miles an hour on the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend, down 2 gears into 4th, and Plato with that inside line has the lead. He's taken the advantage from the MG. It's the yellow and silver Seat that goes ahead, and we're looking back now from Plato at Colin Turkington. Sean Watson-Smith in the third of those 3 cars going well. Behind him is Tom Chilton in the Honda, and then the second of the Seats, that's being driven by Rob Huff.
Plato really aggressive on the first lap. He stated his intentions straight away. That was a really good first lap. He's already got 5 wins under his belt, as you say. He's now looking for number 6.
Yeah, he was superb into this corner, clearways. Watson-Smith now, this is where he said to me that they're struggling a little bit for traction out of this corner. Anthony Reid is into the pit. Anthony Reid, the man who's had such a successful run coming into this meeting at both Croft and Knockhill. He won 2 races at Knockhill, but he's not going to go well here. Tom Chilton coming into Paddock Hill Bend. There was a bit of a lock-up from one of the cars ahead of him, but nobody in trouble. The top 3 still coming through. It is Plato from Colin Turkington, the youngster, the Irishman, in the MG, the black car in second place, and in third place, the South African Sean Watson-Smith, driving for Proton. They're in their last season, we know that, but he'd love to go out on a high.
Here's a repeat of the start. You can see Turkington gets the good start. Plato has to move over straight away, but doesn't quite close the gap. Eventually gets across in front of Sean Watson-Smith. Behind, it's Hines actually being tapped out by Muller. It's Muller that tapped. There'll be some argument in the VX Racing team. Here's a return shot looking back. Well, that was a good start by Watson-Smith. He had a bit of momentum, and he's trying to get up alongside Plato, who you're on board with. Can't quite find the room.
No, but Watson-Smith certainly got in front of Thompson, didn't he? Now, somebody just also, yeah, that was through Paddock Hill Bend there. You can see they ran just a touch wide, but they all got through the first corner. Now we're back with the action. And there's Anthony Reid. I'm afraid no activity for him. He's being pushed away. The
man who scored maximum points at the last meeting out of anybody at Knockhill came into this meeting only 23 points behind. Really wanted to get on level terms. It hasn't happened. A disastrous weekend so far for Anthony Reid.
That's very disappointing. But for Jason Plato, things looking good at the moment, you have to say. The second set there, number 12, that is Rob Huff, the youngster who won his chance to race in British touring cars this year by winning the Seat Cupra Championship last year, and he's been a star of the show, there's no doubt. The first meeting at Brands Hatch at April, he was the driver of the day on that occasion, had a great second place finish, and now he's trying to put the pressure on another youngster, Tom Chilton. And Sean Watson-Smith's lost it on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend into the gravel. Oh, what a shame. They were on for their best result of the season, and Watson-Smith has lost it on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. And that's going to be a huge disappointment to the team. That moves Chilton up to third now. So the group there just behind, that's Chilton in third and Rob Huff alongside. They bang wings as they turn into surtees, and Rob Huff has got third.
Well, Rob Huff, he's got more weight on his car than teammate Jason Plato. Plato with the lightest ballast success on the car, minus 24 kilos. Rob Huff on 0, making a really good reaction of it. Here's a replay of Dan Eves getting up the inside of Michael Bentwood into Paddock. That was a good clean move. Dan Eves, let's remember, started at the back of the field.
Yes, he had a lot of work to do as a result of that, and Dan Eves is actually up to 9th place now. That's pretty remarkable, I have to say. It's a very, very good effort indeed. You can see Farik Kerriman just going slowly. There's Bedwood. Collard and Carl Breeze there side by side. Carl Breeze, who had one of the fastest laps, the 5th fastest lap in race 1, but he started right at the back, so he wasn't able to do a huge amount. There is poor Anthony Reid getting out of his car, and from the delights of Knockhill, it's the disappointments here at Brands Hatch for the veteran. Out in front in this race, it's Jason Plato. The safety car has been called. The safety car is going to be coming on circuit. They want to try and get a couple of cars out of the way, particularly the Proton of Sean Watson-Smith. And that means they will all bunch up together once more. There'll be nothing to choose between them there. The safety car waves through John George, picks up the race leader. And it is Jason Plato now who will cruise around in the lead of this race with Colin Turkington, Rob Huff, Tom Chilton, James Thompson, and also in there Matt Neal. And Matt Neal, a good couple of first laps, I have to say. 6th position for him, carrying maximum ballast. Not a bad effort at all in the orange Honda. Well, it's all been happening already, Tim. Let's take a look back at some of what has been going on here.
I think this is going to be Sean Watson-Smith just getting probably a little bit wide at Brands, getting some dirt on the rear tyres, loses it backwards. There's no coming back from that. The car just pendulums round. He's on the brakes and beaches it in the gravel. So disappointment from Sean Watson-Smith, throwing away 3rd place.
A great shame for the team. They've put so much effort in this year. It was announced recently that Proton will not be returning again in 2005, and would have been wonderful with just this meeting and 2 more meetings to complete this season for them to have earned a podium finish. But it's not to be. There we are, just behind Tom Chilton. We're riding with James Thompson here. Now, in terms of the championship, for Thompson, things are looking up a little bit. Remember, coming into this race, he was 3 points behind Ivan Muller. Muller is 2 places behind Thompson. Neither of them are going to get high scores if they stay where they are. but it would bring things together. And into the pits is Stefan Hodgetts. The team has done miraculous work to get this car back out, and maybe there are still problems.
Well, they're immediately looking at the left front, which is where the damage was, so I guess that something's not quite straight. He's obviously can feel a problem in the car and decided to check it before going any further, but he's out of the race. There's on board with current race leader Jason Plato, keeping his tyres warm. The safety car is probably going to be in this lap. There's no danger now. The lights are out, so the safety car will be in. Everybody needs to bunch up as close. Jason, will he hold the cars back until accelerating across the start-finish line, or will he go as soon as he gets out of clearways? Let's watch and see. But Turkington needs to be up on his game to get a good restart behind him.
Jason Plato, even before this race meeting began, has led twice the number of laps that any other driver has so far this year. So Plato has done brilliantly, particularly in these second races. He will not throw away an advantage like this too easily, but the youngster Colin Turkington has driven superbly, particularly here at Brands Hatch. He'll feel confident. Plato playing games, and away we go now, accelerating away. And Colin Turkington is the meat in the Seat sandwich now, because Rob Huff's immediately behind him. Then it's Chilton, chased by James Thompson. Thompson, the 2002 champion. Here comes Rob Huff, trying to get on the inside to take second, but Colin Turkington crossed over to the inside, make sure he had that line covered. And behind them, it's side-by-side action down the hill too, as Chilton and James Thompson are busy fighting over the fourth position. Rob Huff having got that third place now, and Thompson now got the inside line for Surtees. This could be Thompson through. Yes, he's got the line this time, and James Thompson takes fourth.
Good restart. Oh, as Chilton tries to get up the inside, but doesn't manage it. Good restart by Plato, that was. Held the team back. Now he's got his teammate in third place, pressurising Turkington, and that will help him get away as well. Now Matt Neal, battle of Hondas, side by side. Chilton with some damage on the left rear. Matt Neal is able to breeze past him, despite having the full weight of maximum success ballast, and Kay goes through. Three Hondas running together there.
Yeah, but Tom Chilton's obviously in trouble. He's still trying to defend his position, but it's getting harder and harder to do that up at the hairpin. Meanwhile, we've just heard from the pits that Anthony Reid had suspension damage as a result of contact from a Vauxhall. I don't know if we know who it was, but that's why Reid is out. Meanwhile, Dan Eves trying to slip down the inside of Rob Collard in the silver car. There is third place man Rob Huff. These top three definitely now breaking away from the rest of them. It's James Thompson lying in fourth, leading the next group. There's Ivan Muller, and Muller lies down in eighth place now. He could do with picking off a couple of those cars ahead of him. Chilton still trailing smoke, and he's got Michael Bentwood now behind him and Carl Breeze. Those are the next two that will try and come through. Chilton down in eighth place now, and Bentwood looking for a way past.
Oh, and Chilton running wide there, just got an oversteer on. That was exactly the same as the problem that, well, it locked up as well there at the front, but that looked like a start. The same problem that happened to Sean Watson-Smith is now stalled the car, so a lot of problems going on there. Paddock Hill Bend, we know it's very dirty on the outside, a lot of cars taking the inside line, but just, it's so tempting to run a little bit wide, get a better run through, but you can see you lose grip on the left rear if you do.
He has managed to restart, let me tell you, so that won't bring the safety car out again. Take another look at this.
Yeah, he's carried a lot of speed in there, and the car is sliding. He may have a slow puncture, obviously, on that left rear. There may be other reasons for it. Then, very bizarrely, as he comes back onto the track, he locks the front up. So I'm not sure about that, but clearly big problems for Tom Chilton.
Jason Plato continues to lead, though. He's got a useful little half-second or so advantage over Colin Turkington. It's behind him, really, that all the racing's going on. There's Ivan Muller with the red windscreen strip and the red and white to Vauxhall Astra, and he's currently running in 7th position, but he could do with getting past James Kay, who's having a great run. Chilton into the pits, no great surprise there, and I'm not sure if we'll see him back out or not. We're on board now with second-place driver Colin Turkington up into clearways. And this is where it's so important to get on the power well. Yeah, front-wheel drive car obviously tries to spin up the inside wheel there, turning right and over a crest. But the cars have got such good traction, it is vital because they're flat out down this straight, up to 130 miles an hour. But it's vital that they don't wear that inside front tyre too much as well, so careful setup required. But nothing to choose between the front three, Plato, Turkington and Huff, all posting virtually exactly the same lap times, and the gap very static. Yeah, Plato doing everything required of him at the moment. Further back, you can see the battles going on. There's Dan Eaves coming through. He's running in 11th place in car number 4, the second of the orange Hondas. He was the one that had the fire earlier on, remember? So it's good to see that car is running okay. The mechanics have done a fantastic job to get him back out. He's trying to get past the independent champion from last year. That's Rob Collard in the silver Vauxhall Astra. There is Rob Collard. He had a huge dice with Jason Hughes earlier on, and ahead of them both is Carl Breeze, who switched from driving the Alfa Romeo to driving the Vauxhall of GA Motorsports this weekend. Top 3 over the line once again. 13 laps have been completed, and that leaves 13 to go. We've got a revised race distance now of 26 laps in this one, so half distance completed, and the Seats are looking very good up front at the moment, but Turkington in the party too. And there we are, looking back from Jason Plato at second place man Colin Turkington.
Yeah, it's a great shot that. The car's just running wide there onto the exit of the curb, trying to get maximum traction, front wheel drive. The cars do spin up the wheels if they get too wide coming out of Graham Hill, and then through the really fast Surtees, just locking up the inside wheel that comes off the ground there. No real damage. Sometimes you see tyre smoke from that inside wheel, but it really is only kissing the ground, doesn't do too much damage. But believe me, these guys are driving absolutely flat out, maximum attack every lap.
Yeah, and this is working well for Seat at the moment, isn't it? Because they've got their 2 cars in possible podium finishing positions here. And Seat have had such a strong debut season in the British Touring Cars. We're on board with Jason Plato. That is the race leader, working hard behind the wheel, up through the gears on that sequential shift gearbox. All the cars having to run the same gearbox. It's one of the parts of British touring cars that must be the same across the board. Remember, all these cars are based on their road-going cousins. They are standard production body shells that are then taken by the teams, modified in certain ways, but they have to have an awful lot of the original car in that chassis, particularly lots of standard parts like the gearbox, like the brakes, and the engine has to come, the basis of the engine has to come from one of their road car engines as well.
Yes, believe me, there's an awful lot of tuning goes into making those parts a lot faster. These cars probably 3 times as quick round a lap than an ordinary car. Very, very fast, considering that they're only 2-litre engines, but nearly 300 horsepower from those engines. A quite incredible achievement.
Over the line now, so Richard Marsh there, you can just see on the inside, that's Richard Marsh having his first race weekend in the orange Peugeot. Collard into the gravel. There's been a pushing and barging match going on at the hairpin there, and it's poor Rob Collard who's paid the price. Luke Hines with bits of bodywork dangling from the back of his car. There's Carl Breeze and Dan Eaves in there too.
Well, that was the battle bit we were watching earlier between, here we see the report. Well, Carl Breeze is up the inside, Eaves is into the back of Collard. We really need to see what happened before that. That's a shame for Rob. He was having a good race, and it was an excellent battle. Dan Eaves, who started right at the back, remember, but with no weight on his car, took advantage of the first lap kerfuffle at paddock. Looks like we're going to have another safety car. This will help them close up again, but Dan Eaves is potentially on for a very good result here.
Yes, he's working his way up the order, isn't he? Currently, though, running in 11th place still after that little incident, so he didn't really gain from that. The safety car back on circuit, and we mentioned earlier on Paul O'Neill driving that safety car here today, a man who's knows this Brands Hatch circuit well in a touring car, and a race winner, of course, in touring cars. Had a little incident with Matt Neal here a few years ago when he just got pushed out of a possible win at Brands Hatch. There's Jason Plato, though. And at the moment, everything is pretty much under control for him. Well,
he must be sick to death of the sight of the safety car. Every time he gets out in the lead, there's a problem with the safety car coming out, and he loses that lead advantage. But he's already had one good restart in this race, and he knows how to play it. Slowly up to the line, floor it when you're ready, and he will be the first car back into paddock. But it does mean that the whole field bunches up again, and it'll give everybody a renewed lease of life, Turkington and Huff especially.
Now, we're going to see if we can have a quick word with Jason, see if the system's working. Ben to Jason. Ben, Jason, can you hear us?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Jason, things going pretty well for you at the moment, but the safety car's busy this afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, you know, because we're out in front, we seem to have a fair few of them, but, you know, there is a car up in a dodgy spot, so, you know, what can you say? We've just got to work a bit harder. The only thing is, the safety car's going a bit slow at the moment, which is not good for pickup and debris on the tyres, so we've got to try and keep our tyres as clean as we can.
What do you reckon the challenge from Turkington's going to be like in the remainder of this race?
Say again, please.
What do you reckon? Do you think Colin Turkington's going to be able to put you under much pressure in the remainder of the race?
Oh yeah, I think Colin's. I think the pace at the moment is pretty even. It just depends who's hurt their tyres in the initial part of the race, and I'll be pushing pretty hard, I must imagine. I must admit, but at least Rob's keeping him honest. Either way, you know, win, lose or draw, we're going to have a great race for the remainder of the day.
Great, thanks very much, Jason. Best of luck with the remainder of this one. So there is the work going on to try and get Rob Collard's car out of the gravel. Another look at this one.
Well, in fact, it was Breeze in front of Collard, getting pushed, and then as Rob tries to go through, Carl's still trying to correct the car, tags him, and I have to say that was probably more Rob's fault than anyone else's, although we're not sure exactly how Carl got in that position in the first place, but certainly Rob trying to get through and getting pushed out and trying to take advantage of his own actions.
Yeah, Carl Breeze has had a bit of a busy weekend. He actually crashed up that hill even before they got into the hairpin yesterday as they went out for qualifying. He tangled with Farik Harriman, didn't set a lap at all in the session yesterday, so he's been on the back foot ever since and trying to catch up. I have to say, though, he's going quickly. He's up to 10th place in this. Oh, John George is off as well. That's the LPG-powered car. He's switched cars. Oh dear, he's not too happy, is he? Poor John George. He's one of the sort of enthusiastic amateurs that race in this championship. You get a mix in this series of the salaried professionals, the up-and-comers who are trying to prove themselves, and you get the enthusiastic amateurs. John's one of those. He's usually, I have to say, one of the most cheerful men in the paddock, but he ain't happy right now.
I think it's there's nothing worse for a driver than retirement, because you know, when you're driving the car, your emotions are high, you're really on the edge of your reflexes, and all of a sudden, bang, it's stopped, the driver gets out, total waste of time, and that's a typical reaction.
Yeah, very disappointing for John George. He's enjoying that, driving that Peugeot Coupe, though. It's certainly going well, and he's just hoping that it will continue that way, but obviously not this time. So let's just remind you of how things stand at the moment. Jason Plato leads them around behind the safety car. 19 laps have been completed, and they've got about 8 laps still to do. Behind him is Colin Turkington, then Rob Huff, and James Thompson. Now Thompson in 4th position, just going through the picture. He's got the white band across his windscreen, is still 2 places ahead of Ivan Muller. So with Thompson in 4th place at the moment, that would give him 8 points, and with Muller down in 7th place, that would give him 4 points. It would mean that into the lead of the championship by 1 single point. It's just been so close all year long.
Which is, of course, the margin by which they came into this meeting. But a long way to go yet. And at the moment, well, we see Rob Collard trying to explain how it was not his fault at all, of course, as every driver thinks. Always the other person's fault. But the lights are out on the safety car. That means they'll be restarting at the end of this lap. I'm sure it'll be the same format from Jason Plato. Bunch everybody up, slowly up to the line, accelerate when he's good and ready.
Yeah, this is, we've seen Jason do this once already to great effect. Turkington, though, well, can he find a bit more pace from the MG? The black and silver MG there in 2nd place. He's going past an area of track, the South Bank, as it's known. There's a whole collection of MGs along there. The MG Car Club, or whichever group it is, they've got a whole host of MGs along there. They're giving him plenty of support. And after the disasters of the first race, well, there's a definite podium on the cards here, but will it be a race victory? There is Jason Plato once again. He will try and time this restart to perfection. Here they come out of clearways. You're on board with the 2nd place man. Now then, what's Jason going to do? Is he going to go quick? Oh, he brakes, slows it down, and then goes as he gets to the line, trying to catch Turkington out, but Turkington's up for that, and he goes with him. Huff goes with him too, Thompson, and then it's Matt Neal. Oh, and there's contact there. Muller could be in trouble. He's got to be careful. On the outside, there was Michael Bentwood trying to squeeze through on the inside. The last thing that Muller needs is to be losing places and to be muscled out by one of the privateers, and he has been. It's Michael Bentwood trying to squeeze him out, but the Frenchman comes back down the inside. He's not going to have it. He won't be. Oh, but he has to accept it in the end. Bentwood has got past Ivan Muller.
Well, very brave racing by Bentwood, and look at this Turkington under huge pressure from Huff, but that's great. That's just what James Thompson will want to see in his mirrors, isn't it? Muller being stuffed by the young gun there, and it's absolutely great racing, but Muller will be fuming. He doesn't want competition from his own teammates, although it was he that pushed Hines out on the first lap of the race.
That's
Further
right.
back, we've got Eves alongside. Eves has got past Hines, finally.
Yeah, indeed, and look, we're on board with James Thompson there. It's all getting pretty tight as Rob Huff tries to take second place from Turkington. You're riding with Thompson right now, the 2002 champion. I don't know, might have lost another place. It helps Thompson, of course, but it's a real seesaw battle in the championship, and Thompson himself has taken this restart pretty well, and he's in the mix there, trying to get into a podium finish himself. There is Thompson. You just caught a flash of him in the red and white Vauxhall Astra with that white windscreen strip. He's got right behind him, though, the winner of the first race of the day, Matt Neal, carrying lots of ballast, but that Honda is going extremely well, I have to say. And and the Peugeot's out. That's Richard Marsh in the number 40 car. Hopefully that won't cause the safety car to come out. He's a reasonable distance away from the track there as he's gone off, as the leaders come through paddock.
Richard Marsh, another driver to change cars. He's dropped out of his ETCC spec Honda and jumped into one of last year's Peugeot 307s in BTC spec, and he's certainly enjoying that car. A lot more modern and a lot more racy, I think, than the car he's been driving before. Nothing like a safety car to spice everybody up, is there? Everyone time to regroup behind the safety car, think about some tactics, and really light the fuse but when the safety car goes in, and we've already seen some action.
So Plato is comfortably leading this race again. There's a look back at Luke Hines. He's currently running in 10th place. But remember, the lineup for race 3 this afternoon is as they finish this second race. There's no reverse grid going on. So whoever wins this race will end up on pole position for the third race of the day. And you can see the orange car of Dan Eves, again putting a bit of pressure on Ivan Muller. Muller having been beat. Oh, Muller's a bit wide.
Muller's wide, and Eves has got an overlap. Can he get it up alongside before Muller pulls over? I think he can.
Don't forget, Muller's carrying a lot of ballast in this race, and this is the effect. When he loses momentum, he can't stop going backwards because the other cars without much ballast are in a better situation. He comes back down the inside. Oh, he's having to work so hard at this, but Eves will have a go at getting back alongside towards Surtees. Muller defends that position, and Muller, carrying 30 kilos of ballast, is finding it very hard work out there.
This is the rules of British Touring Car Racing, the face of British Touring Car Racing 2004. Reverse grid, success ballast, it certainly makes for fantastic racing. And we're seeing here at Brands where the grid initially was covered in qualifying by only 1 second, covering 16 cars. The success ballast really does penalise you.
Just a quick mention of James Kay. He's holding on to 6th place, just there with the red and silver car. You saw him come up into the hairpin, and he's having a fantastic weekend so far. They had a 4th place finish earlier on. He's got ballast on board. He's still there in the top 6, but look at the raging battle that's going on here. Luke Hines now with Tom Chilton right behind him. Chilton running in 13th place. He'll be disappointed with that. He loves this Brands Hatch circuit. It's his nearest circuit, really. He comes from near Reigate in Surrey, so not too far away from Brands Hatch, and he would love to try and score some more points. I can just see out of our commentary box window Carl Breeze going very slowly, so it looks as though Carl Breeze is in trouble. But onto the last lap go the race leaders. It's Plato from Turkington and Rob Huff. That's the top 3, and the question really is, can Rob Huff do anything here to take 2nd place? He's going to have a try, I'm sure, but Turkington has it covered.
Plato's got this one in the bag, but Huff isn't finished. He'd love to make it yet another, say out 1-2, pick up a bit of bonus money. He's not finished yet. His last chance is going to be up the inside into Clearways, but I'm absolutely sure that Turkington's going to cover it, and Turkington has almost caught up with the back of Plato, but I'm sure Plato's just bringing this one home nicely.
Yeah, he's just got to get through the final corner here. Turkington, is he going to get a push from Huff? No, that's where Turkington was pushed by Bentwood earlier on today. But out of the last corner, it's win number 6 of the season for Jason Plato. An absolutely superb performance. Once again, race 2 is Plato territory, there's no doubt. Turkington takes 2nd, Huff takes 3rd, James Thompson takes 4th, and more importantly, there are 3 cars between James Thompson and Ivan Muller, and that will give James Thompson the narrow championship advantage. I mentioned Carl Breeze was in trouble. There's your confirmation. It's a flapping, punctured right front tyre, and he's going to be making it back to the pits, presumably.
Well, he's got no tyre on the left at all, and a puncture on the right, but Jason Plato, success in race 2, 6 victories, and yet more laps led to add to his already dominant list.
Let's try and talk to Jason again. Ben to Jason. Jason, many congratulations, another victory.
It's getting good, this, isn't it? I have to say a big thanks to the team, really. I know I'll thank them every time, but we were in trouble after the first race. We had a lot of understeer in the car, and Eddie Inksley, my engineer, and the mechanics did a fabulous job, and we took a bit of a gamble and changed quite a few things on the car. And I have to say it was superb. The car was great for the first few laps, so yeah, another win.
Thanks very much, Jason. We'll see you again later. So, the great result for Jason Plato, and Colin Turkington takes second place ahead of Rob Huff. So a very, very important race that for Seat. James Thompson, though, holding on to take fourth place, and Matt Neal taking fifth ahead of James Kay. Michael Bentwood got a good finish there in seventh ahead of Ivan Muller in eighth place. Dan Eves in ninth, Luke Hines in 10th. Tim, another fantastic race and more to look forward to later, of course. Welcome back indeed to Brands, and it's going to be a very tough race number 3, I think, coming up here, Tim, because there's so much weight now on Jason Plato's car. Well,
maximum ballast, he did a brilliant job in race 2, but with maximum ballast, his car's going to be about half a second slower, and try as he might, good as he is, I don't see any way that he can stay in front of this group, and there's some very fast cars 1 row or 2 rows behind it, particularly to watch out for first race winner Matt Neal.
So the cars making their way around on the formation lap. Let's take a look at the lineup then. It is Jason Plato and Colin Turkington on row 1, now carrying lots of lead ballast on board. Rob Huff and James Thompson on the second row. James Thompson is now 2 points ahead in the championship. Just 2 points ahead, that's all. On row number 3, it's Matt Neal. Race 1 winner here at Brands. He's now lost some ballast. He should be fast. So should James Kay. He's had a fantastic weekend in the Synchro Honda. Behind them, we've got Michael Bentwood and Ivan Muller, and I'm not sure that Ivan was too impressed by Michael Bentwood's tactics earlier on, although Michael Bentwood was simply racing for position. He's a member of the VX Racing Junior team, remember, and they will both be pushing hard. Behind them, it's Dan Eves and Luke Hines, both running well in that second race. Behind them, we've got Jason Hughes and Carl Breeze. And then we've got some other quick people coming up behind them as well, because Tom Chilton is back on row number 7 of the grid in the Works Honda. He's got Fareed Karaman behind him. We've got Richard Marsh and John George on row number 8, but then behind them we've got Rob Pollard and Stefan Hodgetts in that repaired Alfa Romeo, who has made it back onto the grid. And right at the back, 2 very interesting cars to watch out for. Sean Watson-Smith, who spun out of 3rd place in race 2, and Anthony Reid, whose weekend has been a disaster so far. He's got no weight at all on the car this time. Can he do anything from back there? Now remember, he's also racing under the threat of a suspended race ban after his tactics last time out in Scotland, so he can't afford to knock them off to work his way through. He's got to keep it clean, Tim.
Absolutely. That race ban will mean that if he has another fine or endorsement, he will automatically pick up a 1-race suspension, which would obviously finish his season completely. But the car will be very fast, and this is the race where there's more likely to be grid changes, position changes than any other, with the heaviest cars starting at the front.
Yes, and Jason Plato with the task of trying to defend pole position, trying to defend the lead perhaps with that heavyweight car. And he has done it before. He did it at Croft earlier on this season, and Seat had a 1-2 finish in both the second and third races there. But Vauxhall, I have to say, have been strong here today. Watch out for James Thompson. He finished 4th in race 2. He was 3rd in the first race of the day. Can Thompson now, having taken a 2-point lead in the championship, really do something special here and open up a little bit more of a gap over the Frenchman Ivan Muller? Muller's got a little bit more work to do because he's starting back on row 4, but he does love this Brands Hatch Indy circuit. And John George, we just saw coming into the pits there from the back of the grid. That's a shame for him. But watch out for Muller. He's one of those sort of drivers who will try to go right around the outside of everybody at Paddock Hill Bend. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
It is going to be a close start. Jason Plato on the front row, an excellent starter. He's managed it so far this year, many times getting off the front row perfectly. But as we say, Turkington and some fired up teammates just behind.
Here we go then. All set. The car's in position. It's round 24 of the 2004 Green Flag MSA British Touring Car Championship from Brands Hatch. And it's Jason Plato versus Colin Turkington on the front row of the grid. Wait for the lights to come on. and then to go out, and we'll be racing. And it's a good start from Turkington and from James Thompson. Thompson makes a great start from the second row of the grid, but it's the MG, the black and silver MG of Colin Turkington that leads. Here comes Matt Neal trying to go around the outside in the orange Honda, but he can't get past the Seat, and Jason Plato takes third. Rob Huff is in fourth as Matt Neal tries to go around the outside at the hairpin. That's pretty brave. It can get terribly slippery out there on the edge of the track, and Kay will try to follow him through. Oh, Matt Neal on the grass, but he cannot get past those two. Jason Hughes there, giving Luke Hines a little tap as they came through Graham Hill Bend. And the battle for the lead. James Thompson on the inside into Surtees, side by side. Oh, wonderful racing. Vauxhall versus MG. MG on the inside. Turkington still has it, but Thompson will go all the way with him. Through Clearways they come. They're still side by side. Turkington's car carrying ballast, remember, may not be so fast onto the straight, and Thompson's trying to take the lead here in terms of the championship. It's crucial that he gets in front, but he's not got the overlap, and he's got to watch out because Jason Plato's right there in third place. What a first lap.
That was an incredible lap of touring car driving with Turkington and Thompson side by side for over half a lap, and that's the view from Plato's car. From Thompson's car right up behind. He's now got Plato tucked in third place. Plato so far hanging on to these two very well.
Yeah, these three may begin to, but look at Bentwood behind them. Michael Bentwood's had a brilliant start. James Kay on the grass. He got a tap from somebody. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I think he's rejoined. The leaders come into Clearways. Thompson. Oh, look at Plato. He's doing what he did to Turkington. Right over the curve on the inside. He's done it. He's done it again for the second time today. He's used that line into Clearways. He clambered over the curve to avoid too much contact. But now the lighter Vauxhall has the edge down the straight. But Plato's got the inside line for Paddock Hill Bend. And it's Plato who holds on to second place. Thompson's down to third, and Michael Bentwood still running brilliantly in fourth, ahead of Ivan Muller and Matt Neal.
This is on the first lap, down into Graham Hill. Look there, and there Kay gets turned around by Chilton in the other Honda. He does a brilliant job of saving it, lights up the front and it brings it round, but he'll be disappointed to have lost those positions. Back on board Thompson. Plato squeezed the car through where there was absolutely no right to go, and Thompson's monstering the back for it.
Yeah, Thompson knows how important this race is to him. He's got two people between himself and championship rival Ivan Muller, just 2 points between them, remember. The rest of the field comes out of Clearways. It's all looking pretty clean there at the moment. But the race leader is Colin Turkington, still in the MG. He's getting away from this battle for second. This is really helping Turkington. Turkington's opened up a big lead. The bumper goes flying on Plato's car. It's gone into the gravel there on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend. That won't hurt him too much, but they're all ganging up. And look how Ivan Muller's now going to try around the outside of Michael Bentwood, and he's got the line into Graham Hill Bend. And now the two big championship rivals are running together on circuit once again.
There's no doubt that Plato is holding this group up as well as he is driving. It's letting Turkington get away and forming a traffic jam behind him. Jason Hughes stopped on the circuit. That's up at Druids.
Yeah, look at this. Matt Neal getting past Michael Bentwood as well. Bentwood lost a place to Ivan Muller the last time, but now he's going to lose another position to the Honda, the orange Honda of Matt Neal. He's on the inside. Michael Bentwood in the VX Junior Racing. Vauxhall Astra on the outside in his first season of front-wheel drive touring car action.
But the safety car is out. That's going to slow everybody down just for a couple of laps. We can catch our breath. They can plan their next strategy and relaunch another fight after the safety car goes in. What an exciting first couple of laps.
Great racing all the way through, but it's Colin Turkington who leads at the moment. Jason Plato in second place and James Thompson in third. And, well, great racing already we've seen here, and there's more great racing to come, I'm sure. Turkington leads at the moment, but I wonder how much longer. The safety car is still out here at Brands Hatch, leading the field around in the third and final touring car race of the day, after we saw an incident for Jason Hughes' privately run MG, which has left some fluids on the circuit. Marshall's doing a fantastic job of trying to clear up and get everything out of the way. The volunteer marshals who always do so much to keep British motorsport running, once again doing their best here to get that car moved and get this race running once more. It's being led by the MG of Colin Turkington. Let's take a look at some of the incidents that we've had already in this race.
This was Tom Chilton turning around fellow Honda driver James Kay, who does a brilliant job of keeping it together and getting back in the right direction. And here we see very close racing up the front between Plato and Thompson. Yeah,
there was a big battle between Thompson and Plato. And you could see Thompson there just giving Plato a little tap as they went through the hairpin, and that really was what dislodged the bumper. The bumper then came off a lap or so later. It's ended up in the gravel trap at Paddock, although that's been cleared away now. And so the safety car still out there at the moment, but I think the lights are off now. Yep, the lights are off on the safety car, and they will be racing once again when they get back to the start-finish line. There's a new race distance of 27 laps. They'll have completed 10 by the time they come past next time. Still 17 laps to go. Still a fantastic battle in prospect, particularly with Turkington in the MG, Plato in the Seat, Thompson in the Vauxhall, Muller in another Vauxhall, and then Matt Neal in the first of the Hondas, who won earlier on today and looks to have great pace once more.
Be interesting to see how Turkington handles the restart. So far this week, today, we've had two very slow restarts. I think Plato got his knuckles wrapped by the clerk of the course for braking and then accelerating as he came up to the line. Let's see how Turkington do it. I fancy he'll probably set off a little bit earlier.
Well, we're about to find out, because the safety car making its way into the pits now. Turkington in the black and silver MG will control the pace at the start of this race. He's trying to fend off the 2001 British Touring Car champion Jason Plato, and behind him is the 2002 and 2003 champions. What a lineup across the line. Turkington starts this race again. It's Plato chasing him, then it's Thompson and Muller. Three champions there, the last three British Touring Car champions running second, third and fourth in this race, but they're being led by 22-year-old Colin Turkington and Ivan Muller there, trying to find a way past James Thompson. Has to watch his mirrors because the orange Honda of Matt Neal is bearing down on him. Behind him, Michael Bentwood under pressure from Rob Huff.
Well, Matt Neal's no respecter of reputations, British Touring Car champions or not. He will want to be trying to get to the front of this field. Turkington, as I suspected, went a little bit before the line and got a little bit of advantage, but Plato got up the inside, his favourite place to pass, that is. He's got a bit of an overlap, and the Seat, even with weight, is quick.
What a move that is from Plato. He just doesn't brake going into clearways, and he gets up the inside before the other car even knows it's there. It's fantastic racing. We're looking at the view from James Thompson's car, and Plato's through. Plato's taken the lead despite carrying ballast. He's got in front of Colin Turkington. Look behind. Ivan Muller trying to make a move there on Thompson. Thompson had it covered. Meanwhile, Rob Huff in the silver and yellow Seat trying to go around the outside of Michael Bentwood and not quite able to manage it. He's got the second orange Honda of Dan Eaves behind him, and then it's Luke Hines, the third of the Vauxhalls, the Works Vauxhalls, but Jason Plato using that line at clearways to perfection.
Jason Plato's gone from pole position back to third and then driven his way back to the front again with two beautiful passes up at clearways. He's obviously got a bit of rally suspension on that Seat. He can go over the curbs and the grass on the inside and use a line that no one else can use. And despite the weight, he's actually pulling away.
That is remarkable. I'm not quite sure how they've managed to do it. But I think what the problem is now is that Turkington, remember, who is running a heavy car as well, I think the MG is hurting more with the ballast than the Seat, and the Turkington's holding everyone else up now. He can't go any quicker than this, he's flat out, but that extra ballast seems to be hurting the MG in second place more than it is the Seat that's leading, and Thompson will get frustrated here.
Thompson will, and I mean, certainly it shouldn't be possible for the car with maximum ballast to drive away on this circuit. I think if Plato wins this race, then Vauxhall are going to be talking to Mr. Gow and ask him to reassess the weights before the last two races, but hats off to Plato. You can't fault his determination and racecraft.
Definitely not, but Turkington has to keep an eye on his mirrors because Thompson is now getting closer and closer as they head down the Brabham Straight. Again, up to about 130 miles an hour here, then onto the brakes, through the plunging Paddock Hill corner. Look how he closes up through the corner, but can he get to the inside? No, he can't. What he's looking to do, oh, and Bentwood and Huff make contact. Bentwood's on the grass. Can he stop in time? Oh, he did brilliantly to keep it on the island, because it looked to me for a moment as he was heading for the gravel trap.
Yeah, just for his pleasures, he got a whack, I think, from Dan Eaves as he came back on, but brilliant car control, did very well to hold it, and obviously here Rob Huff disputing that track on the way up the hill to Druids.
Ivan Muller's in the middle too there with the red windscreen strip the #1 car, the reigning champion, and he's now right behind his championship rival, James Thompson, his teammate as well. This has been the dominant team, of course, in touring car racing over the last 3 years. They're having their work cut out in terms of individual race wins at the moment. Muller's gone down the inside. Oh, it's tight there, but once again, he's not quite through. Thompson's going to have to be quick to cover the inside. He is, and as we look at it now, Muller is trying to go around the outside at the hairpin with Matt Neal in the Honda also trying to follow him.
Well, that was close at the fastest part of the track there through Paddock Hill Bend. Muller just rubbing on the back of Thompson, and that will certainly get Thompson's blood boiling. He doesn't want that. Here we go. It's a late lunge up the inside, gets a bit of an overlap, then I think backs out of the manoeuvre, but just a little bit of contact, and both drivers doing well to cover that move and stay on the track.
Great example, perhaps. Look at this, of Muller now getting down the inside, but these two have so much respect for each other, and you could really see that in that move, but now Muller's got the advantage. Thompson cannot afford to let Muller beat him here. They're still side by side as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. Muller's got the advantage. Thompson's going to have to be careful, otherwise he'll lose the place to Matt Neal behind him, and Matt Neal's on the inside of Thompson here. Matt Neal's going to go through, he's going to follow Yvan Muller, and so's Rob Huff. So Thompson could be in big trouble here. He's got the inside line for the next left-hander, but Thompson has lost 2 places on half a lap.
Yeah, slight mistake from Thompson there. He let Muller get up the inside along the start-finish line, and then perhaps foolishly tried to go around the outside of him with Paddock, and all that did was allow Matt Neal to cut back underneath him on the run up the hill to Druid. So perhaps he would have been better off giving up that position and saving himself losing 2.
Very Kerryman we saw in the pits in the Proton. Looks as though he's not going any further, but Thompson still under pressure here from Rob Huff as they come across the line. And Thompson having dropped to 5th place now, it means that the championship lead will go back to Yvan Muller if things stay as they are right now, and Thompson's really having to work hard to keep that Seat, the second Seat behind him. The lead Seat of Jason Plato has opened up a 1.3 second advantage over Turkington. It's an astounding display, bearing in mind he's got the maximum ballast on the car. Turkington, in turn, has got quite a lot of weight on board, and it's Muller now who is bearing down on them. And remember, Muller's car is pretty light. He's got pretty much all the ballast taken out. It's the lightest of those front-running cars.
Yeah, Anthony Reid, I think, making a big move up the inside further back, and I can also see one of the Competition with Halford's cars lapping slowly. That'll be Dan Eaves. He's heading to the pits. On board with Plato. He doesn't look flustered, does he? He's got the knack of winning these races from the front, but he had to work for it in this one by dropping back to 3rd and getting back. Rob Huff still all over the back of Thompson.
Yeah, and also just ahead of them, Matt Neal is right on terms with Yvan Muller, and they're both catching Colin Turkington. Look, there's the battle for second. Turkington, Dan Eaves in. You mentioned that he was going slowly there, Tim. He's not had a good day at all, has he?
It's not been good after such a great run up at Knockhill, but certainly the Competition Racing with Halfords. Honda's very, very quick, and this man, I think, has still got some action to come in this race. It looks like a rear puncture for Dan Eaves.
So disappointing for him, but as you say, his teammate's still in the hunt here. Turkington now with Yvan Muller right behind him. You're on board Yvan Muller's car as he comes to the outside, does he? Yes, he's forced to the outside by Turkington taking the tight line. Oh, there was contact almost between them, and it's through goes Matt Neal. So Matt Neal gets through as a result of Muller trying to get Turkington, and there's tyre smoke coming off Turkington's car, and Matt Neal's got past both of them.
Well, Muller went to the outside of Turkington. Turkington took his line, and of course that made sure there was contact on the approach. Well, there's more contact there, but it was a perfect opportunity for Matt Neal to get through into second. And now we'll see whether he can close down on leader Plato.
And Huff has got past Thompson as well, just behind that. Oh, and off has gone Richard Marsh, one of the privateers. The team Varta entry is out of it by the looks of things. But looking at this group, it is Turkington with the smoke pouring off his left rear wheel. Hopefully that won't cause too many problems. Muller still chasing, of course. It might just slow it down the straight a bit of drag on that rear tyre, and Muller looking to the outside again as he did when it all went wrong last time, which allowed Matt Neal into second place. So the Honda of Matt Neal now in second. Can he close on Jason Plato? That's the next question. Will Plato have a problem? There are still some 8 laps to go here, bit of time for Plato to come under pressure from Matt Neal, but there's a bit of a gap for him to close. There is Plato, there is Matt Neal. Matt Neal now head down, charging, trying to close that gap. Turkington third, Muller in fourth place. Now it's Rob Huff in fifth and James Thompson in sixth.
Well, Matt Neal is on zero ballast, success ballast. Jason Plato's on plus 42 kilos. If the rules are right, Neal should be able to catch Plato.
Cross the line, and Matt Neal 0.4 of a second faster than Jason Plato on that lap. As meanwhile, they're side by side again into Paddock Hill Bend, and this time Muller has got past Turkington. So Muller ahead of Turkington. Turkington now trying to defend from Rob Huff, and Muller now into third position as a result of that. So the reigning champion, the Frenchman, the star of ice racing in France in the winter months, but the star of British touring cars over recent summers as well, finally wrapped up the title for the first time last year. He's got himself there into third position, and his big championship rival James Thompson is still languishing down in sixth behind Turkington and Rob Huff in car number 12.
Well, Rob Huff will be all over the back of Turkington now. You can see the Seat holding a tight line on the exit there. He has got a good engine in that Seat, and he's all over Turkington. But in front of these two, you've got Matt Neal wringing the neck of his little Honda, trying to catch up. And again, a faster lap than Plato. Huff is a tiger. He's trying to get the overlap. It's so hard. Yes, he's done it. Yes, he's done it. Yes, he has definitely got an overlap. That was close. Turkington thought about closing the door on him, but that wouldn't have been a wise move on Huff. But will Thompson get through as well? I think he will. Yeah,
Turkington goes wide, and that's put Huff into fourth place and Thompson into fifth, and here comes Bentwood going for it as well. Bentwood squeezes through. That was a bit of a risky manoeuvre. He's on the grass coming out, and there's Anthony Reid joining in. Reid, who started at the very back of the grid, and Anthony Reid inside the top 10, and he's gained another place there. This is a fantastic performance from Anthony Reid, whose championship hopes have really been slipping here today. Now he's got to get past Bentwood, and remember, he's got to keep it clean as well. Plato coming around to complete his 23rd lap, 5 laps to go. Matt Neal still second. Ivan Muller is in third place. Then it's Huff, then it's Thompson, then it's this battle. Bentwood versus Reid for 6th place. Oh, Thompson in the gravel there, coming out of paddock.
Well, can you believe it? All the hard work done, gains the positions, and now he's giving it away. This could be a crucial moment in the championship. Oh, and James Kay has gone straight on at the top of the hill. Everything's unfolding in these last 5 laps.
It has all changed as Thompson has dropped a number of places. James Kay off, and we're surely going to see the safety car come out, because that's in quite a difficult position on the exit of the hairpin. We'll wait and see. No confirmation of that yet. Yes, now we see the boards come out.
Well, that's just what Matt Neal needed at the front, isn't it? He only had a 1.3 second gap, but now he's going to be right on the back. But disaster for Thompson.
Well, this is one of the most changeable races we've seen so far this year in terms of different incidents. We've seen some action-packed races, but all these things going on throughout the field and cars going off. I wonder what happened to Thompson. We picked up that shot of him going through the gravel, coming through Paddock Hill Bend, whether he'd made a mistake, whether he'd had a hit from somebody. Let's take a look back.
He caught the inside curb. He caught the inside curb. He just saw the car bobble, and that was enough to throw the car out wide, and no chance of saving it there, but trip through the gravel, dirt all over the cars, slow up the hill, everybody else driving up. No idea what happened to James Kay there, whether he lost the steering or just suddenly got a puncture on the left front, but he clearly had no steering control.
Yeah, it looks like something broke, as you say, or a puncture. It just went straight on, didn't it, on the exit of the hairpin. Nasty, frightening when a car does that. No control for the driver.
Fortunately, at the slowest point of the track, or the slowest corner there, and only a very light bump into the tyres, so fortunately it didn't happen at Paddock Hill Bend. But Thompson is obviously dropped right back to 10th place now, has an opportunity to clean his tyres up, but I think he's lost his front splitter into the bargain, so his car is not going to be perfect.
Well, there was evidence of oil up there earlier. Now, there's James Kay's car being moved. Vicky is down in pit lane with the boss of VX Racing, Ian Harrison.
Now, your boys seem to be having a bit of a battle out there between them, Tomo and Muller in particular.
Yeah, it's all sort of kicking off a bit, really. There was a little bit of an incident, but Tomo's just picked up some understeer for some reason, and which is why he ran wide in turn 1. So we're just talking to him on the radio at the moment just to find out why.
Gloves are definitely off now between these two, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. They're both battling for the championship, along with Reid and Neal and Plato, but they're still not allowed to take each other off, so I hope they adhere to that.
It makes for exciting racing, so we thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
So as the marshals continue their work to get that car out of the way, Plato is, we gather, pretty angry that the safety... We heard him earlier on saying he didn't think the safety car was going fast enough, and I think he's getting a bit upset once again. We'll see if we can have a chat with him. Ben to Jason, are you getting a bit wound up about that safety car? Oh, we're sorry, we're not quite picking that up. So,
all right, Matt, you remember what
we'll try and pick that up in a moment, but we'll see what happens. Jason Plato didn't seem to be very happy from what we could gather there with the speed, the pace the safety car is going. We'll just try once again. Ben to Jason. I don't know if you can hear us, Jason, but you don't seem too happy about that safety car?
Going too slow, Luke's going to be too tired. Anyway, Ben, I'll speak to you after. I've got to concentrate.
Well, thanks, Jason. Well, let's hope that we'll see what happens next. We'll leave you to it, mate. And the lights are now off on the safety car, and that means he'll be coming in at the end of this lap. There'll be just 2 laps to go then. 2 laps. It's going to be a real shootout this time. Can Jason Plato fend off Matt Neal? Remember, Plato's still carrying that ballast, but can we see what happens this time? Well, we think it's just 1 lap, in fact. When they come across the line this time, is it just going to be the 1 lap? I think it is. We'll see. We'll see. We've got the lap counter in front of us, actually. Yes, they've just put it down to 1 now, across from our commentary position. So it's the 1 lap. It's a 1-lap shootout for the win in race 3 here at Brands Hatch, and it's Jason Plato who blasts away. Matt Neal and Ivan Muller go with him. And Ivan Muller's been in this situation before with a late race restart. Oh, and Plato sideways. Matt Neal and Muller comes through. Muller's on the inside, and it's the Frenchman who's going to take advantage of all this. Ivan Muller, but he's run wide. He's run wide. He's in trouble.
That's Rob Huff in the lead. Rob Huff is about to win his first ever touring car race. What a fantastic... It's all going now. Muller sideways again. Reed is out on the grass.
They're all over the place. They're all desperate on this last lap. And Rob Huff is going to win his first British touring car race in the Seat. He was driver of the day here at Brands earlier on this season, and he has emerged from chaos on the last lap to take his first ever win. The 24-year-old from Newmarket has won here at Brands Hatch. 2nd place goes to Jason Plato. 3rd goes to Michael Bentwood. Michael Bentwood, he got 3rd ahead of Matt Neal, Ivan Muller. Anthony Reid was 6th, Luke Hines 7th, Chilton 8th, Collard 9th, Breeze 10th, and James Thompson all the way down in 12th.
Here's the restart going into paddock. Watch Matt Neal, he kicks this off. Plato's a little bit steady into the corner, obviously worried about cold tyres. Neal makes an attack, touches the back of him. Muller goes round the outside of Neal, dives to the inside, and you'd think now that was it, but he and Plato run out wide. Through goes Huff on the inside, thank you very much. And then, of course, Muller gets tagged wide by Plato, who's a little bit cross, and Bentwood comes through to pick up that 3rd place. And then Reed and Muller touch again at the bottom of the hill as Turkington fires off onto the grass.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful racing. And Rob Huff has emerged from all that to take his first touring car win. The young man who's in his first ever season of British touring cars, who won this opportunity by winning the SEAT Championship. And his father in the middle there in the white shirt, he must be so proud. He's followed Rob throughout his career, helped him, tried to get him up through the ladder of motorsport, and he's won several scholarships on his way. It's been tough for him to get there, but he has made the most of it this year, and in fantastic style. He kept it clean. He saw the gaps there, Tim, and that's what you have to do.
He did. He kept his car reasonably intact when all around him everyone else was firing it off. He had a difficult race. At one point he was down to 7th place, but in this type of racing absolutely anything can happen. I think Jason will be upset, but he was a bit slow into paddock there, definitely on that first lap, a little on the restart, a bit cautious, but certainly wouldn't have expected a tap from Matt Neal behind. But at the end of the day, it's a 1-2 for SEAT in Plato's 150th race.
Yeah, that's a pretty remarkable score. You can see the 150 up on the windscreen strip for Jason Plato there. Well, it looked like he was going to win that one, didn't it? Until that last lap got underway once again. And he wasn't happy. We know he wasn't happy about the pace of the safety car. He felt it wasn't going quick enough to keep some tyre temperature up. Maybe that's why he was a bit cautious going into Paddock Hill Bend on the restart. But whatever, it is his teammate that has emerged. Look, you can see, listen, the reception for Rob Huff.
This will be a very, very popular victory. The team really supportive of Rob. Let's not forget, this is his first ever year in touring cars, and he has driven like a veteran. So, and been the ideal team man and supporter of Plato, but this was his day.
Let's go and join Vicky, who's right in the middle of all the celebrations.
Just tell us about that last lap. It was unreal.
On the restart, I think Matt got past. Matt made a move on Jason. They both got turned around. Muller went up the inside of Jason, out-braked himself. I went up the inside and cruised home. Unbelievable.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done, you. Well done.
Well, that was a fantastic performance there from Rob Huff. He really just managed to get it perfectly lined up on that last lap. And for Seat, once again, you have to say, you know, they've shown us once more that they deserve to be in this championship and that they've challenged all the top cars and drivers.
Well, there were lots of drivers that could have won that last race, particularly with the restart. We've seen it here, of course, before with Turkington and Muller on the last lap into paddock. Don't know how Alan Gow managed to arrange these last lap restarts, but you could have picked anyone, and I would not have picked Rob, but I couldn't be more delighted for his first win.
Well, we've seen some more fantastic racing here at Brands Hatch. There'll be more of the same, I'm sure, throughout the year.